Hi everyone, and welcome to the solution video for problem number 1 in Learning Objective 1-4. In this problem, we are looking at software development costs. So on August 1st, 2024, Reliable Software began developing a software program to allow individuals to customize their investment portfolios. All right, so what is this problem getting at? Well, this problem is getting at this idea of research and development costs. Research and development costs. And these are costs incurred to develop new products, services, and or internal processes. Okay, so the company is trying to develop a new product, a new service, or some more advanced way of doing things, more efficient way of doing things within their own manufacturing process or some other area of their business. So they're trying to do things better internally. So that's what research and development is. And in most cases, GAAP says you cannot capitalize these costs. So essentially, you have to record them in the income statement. You can't record them as assets in the balance sheet. So I'm just going to do asset, and then this is what GAAP says. GAAP says no asset, right? This is not allowed. You cannot do that. All right. Now, there are some exceptions. One exception is for software development costs. When you develop software, if you want to think about it like in a timeline, if this is your timeline here, there are 3 key points in this development timeline. The first is when you start R&D. The second is when you reach something called technological feasibility. And then the last is when you reach something called general availability. All right, so what do these terms mean? So let's start with technological feasibility, right? Because this is pretty clear. You start the R&D process, right? That you start exploring to develop a new product, a new service, or internal process, right? The technological feasibility is the point at which you have maybe like a, hold on a second here, let me just grab a pen. So I'm going to say this is like, it will work. You were working on a new product. You didn't know if it would turn into anything useful. When you've reached technological feasibility, it's feasible. This thing might work. So when you hit that point, technological feasibility, you can begin capitalizing any R&D cost you incur. But you have to stop when you begin selling the product to your customers, okay? Or when you start using the new process that you developed internally. But during this very special time frame, from technological feasibility all the way through general availability, GAAP says that you can capitalize these costs. So this is capitalize. You can record these costs as an asset. Out here, after you begin using the software or selling it to customers, you have to expense any costs. And over here, from the time you start the project to the time you know it's going to work, you also have to expense in that window as well. Okay, so that is the background of this problem here. Okay, and if we look at what they're telling us technological feasibility was established on January 31st, and the program was available for release on March 31st, 2025. So what this is saying is that from January 1st through March 31st, we can capitalize the costs. That's what it's saying. So from January 31st through March 31st, we can it's basically this special window down here. Now let's look at our costs. Well, August 1st through December 31st, 2024, this one right here, that would fall into this window. So that's not going to work. January 1st through January 31st, again, this falls in this window. This last one, February 1st, that's after January 31st, and through March 31st, this is bingo, this is our window here. So this $1.6 million can be capitalized. So how do we do that with a journal entry? Let's see. So to capitalize this, we are going to say on December 31st, 2025, we're going to debit software development costs. This is an asset. Software development costs for 1.6 million, because that's the amount that falls in that special window. And during that same year in 2025, right, because we're preparing the journal entry for 2025, we took care of this. The only other amount in 2025 is this 1.2. We're going to say for 2025, we had research and development costs, research and development expense in the income statement, 1.2 million. And we're going to assume, let me just give myself some room here. We're going to assume that this was all paid for in cash, okay? So we're gonna say credit to cash for 2.8. You know, I'm gonna just move this over a bit so I have some more room. All right, and then I'm just going to erase this. Sorry about that. So it was getting a little sloppy there. I don't like sloppy. So I'm gonna say credit cash for 2.8. All right, easy peasy. All right, so that took care of 2025, but the problem here also wants us to look at 2024. In 2024, it's much more simple. We're going to, so this is 12/31/2024. We're going to say debit research and development expense, and credit cash for 6.3 million. All right. So here is, this is the solution for part 1, 2025. This is the solution for part 1, 2024. What about part 2? Well, let's leave that for the next video. In the next video, we'll walk through the solution to part 2. I think this is enough to understand and digest in a single video. So I hope you found the solution to part 1 helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in just a moment for the solution to part 2.